Hey everyone, welcome to today's super exciting story. Our father just realized he's in a time travel romantic comedy. He says Annie looks just like an old friend he hasn't seen in ages, only to find out his former lover has passed away. Suddenly, he's choked up. Because she was once a part of his life, but Dad never saw this coming. The next morning, William spots a familiar scar on Anna's wrist and suddenly has a light bulb moment. To confirm his wild theory, William bolts into the storage room like he's in a movie, pulling out a dusty old box. Inside were all the thrilling memories of her and Adaline during their romance. One time they went on a forest adventure, and Adaline tripped over a tree branch like a romantic comedy gone wrong. Luckily, William knew first aid and tried to patch up Annie like a not-so-reliable doctor. They asked the stranger to take photos for memories. Their goofy couple photo became hard evidence. At that moment, William was convinced that his son's new girlfriend was indeed his long-lost sweetheart, Adaline. So he rushed after Annie, who was out for a stroll, eager to unveil the truth. "I know who you are, Annie. Spill the beans." She panicked a bit. I'm just teaching myself how to handle this." Faced with William's unexpected inquiry, Annie looked a tad flustered. Flashback to 80 years ago, Annie strolled on the beach and bumped into a young engineer. Talk about a classic love at first sight story. They married quickly. A year later, the baby was born. But happiness was short-lived. The engineer died unexpectedly, leaving Annie and their daughter alone. When life seemed tough, Annie was on her way to pick up her daughter but hit a snowstorm. The roads were as slippery as an ice rink. Annie lost control. Her car barreled through a barricade bam, and down into the river it went. Straight out of a The icy river swallowed Annie whole, and in just 2 minutes, she was in full-on hibernation mode. Just one desperate bam. A huge lightning struck, like superhero power, reminding her of life's meaning. The lightning delivered a shocking 60,000 amps of current, like a cardiac reboot for the unconscious Annie, bringing her back to life from the brink of oxygen deprivation. Picking up, Annie scrambled out of the car like a dolphin and exhaustedly flopped back onto the shore. In that moment, she gained the power of eternal youth, so her body and looks froze at 29. But her youthful spirit had to endure the endless ups and downs of life. She had to watch her loved ones vanish one by one, unable to change a thing. All Annie could do was accept this wild twist of fate. Every day she disguised herself as an aging woman, but the marks of time on her face aroused suspicion from her former friends. To cover up her secret, she had to lie, crediting it all to skincare products and a healthy diet. Unfortunately, Annie caught the attention of the police for a traffic violation. Talk about a ball from the blue. While her excuse might buy her some time, she knew all too well that one glimpse at her old birth certificate would blow her cover. To avoid being turned into a test subject, Annie pulled a "now you see me, now you don't" and hurried home. He landed a job at a medical school, giving her the perfect excuse to peruse medical books and study her body's bizarre changes. After 5 years plowing through every medical textbook, Annie still hadn't found a single relevant case, as if she were the only one of her. But her ageless beauty caught the eye of the FBI, and 2 agents whisked her away without a hint of discussion. As the car rolled through a dark, rainy night, Annie felt like a tumbleweed in the wind, sensing she might never escape. Just as they were approaching definitely a one-way trip, luckily, the agents had to step out for a minor roadside mishap. Annie seized her chance, stealthily crawling out of the trunk and making a successful escape back home. Once home, she quickly packed her bags and explained everything to her daughter. "Next time we meet, we'll have new identities. I'll always be your mom, but you'll just be my friend." To protect her daughter's freedom, Annie reluctantly chose to part ways with her, even if it broke her heart. From then on, she floated like a leaf in the wind, moving every 10 years, changing jobs, names, and looks, slowly forgetting her real name, Adaline. Immersed in endless loneliness, Annie dared not love again, opting to shut herself off from the world. Thus, she lived alone for 80 years, but fate can be dramatic. Her eternal journey was about to meet a mysterious stranger. Because of her past experiences, Annie chose not to make any friends, fighting against fate, but sometimes destiny has other plans. She tried so hard to control herself, but in the end, emotions swept over her and she unexpectedly befriended a blind woman. With the new year around the corner, Annie had no excuse left and agreed to join her friend for a party. Upon entering, she was drawn to an old photo of her youth on the wall, like a rerun of an old movie. Despite decades passing, her face bore no signs of aging at all. But now, Annie couldn't muster the courage to laugh with abandon like she used to. As memory surged like a tide, all she felt was endless loneliness and desolation. The photo must have triggered past memories, because no amount of surrounding party merriment could lift Annie's solitude. After the piano music faded, her blind friend sat beside Annie, discussing New Year's wishes. Her friend's wish was to find true love, while Annie secretly hoped that next year would be her last New Year on Earth. Her friend, unaware of Annie's struggles, urged her to enjoy life to the fullest. Suddenly she noticed several men approaching to flirt. Annie politely declined, but soon her gaze was drawn to a man across the room, and sparks of romance flickered in the air. The man noticed Annie, and as their eyes locked, it felt as if the whole world stood still, emotions simmering beneath us. Just as romantic feelings were brewing, a woman suddenly popped up beside the man, interrupting the charged atmosphere. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more surprises.